Wow. Hey, everybody. How you doing tonight? This is my new night, Thursday. I've taken over the spot. Eric is kind of a fly-in, fly-out kind of person now with this show. Mike is always with either me or Mike, or the three of us are always together. So I wanted to bring Mike back on tonight because it's a great conversation.
How's it going, everybody?
Before we get into anything heavy, while I was waiting to come on the show, I was looking through the charter. Now, I think this charter has been changed from the original charter that I was part of, the last one that was written. But you know how we always said that, I want to find it before I go opening my mouth. Oh, here we go. That the council can vote on their own increase. And they can vote on an increase for the mayor as far as compensation or salary goes, without any of us getting a chance to vote on any of it. I don't know where it says in the charter anywhere that we don't have the option to vote on it. It might not say we do, but it definitely doesn't say we can't or we don't. Now with this pandemic thing, they've been getting away with a lot of stuff. So I was reading through the charter, which is kind of sad, really, when you think about that. That's what I'm reading. But it says here, the council may, by ordinance, provide for compensation of its members to be paid in equal monthly installments. The council president may be granted an additional compensation. Now, so far, that's all I've been able to find. I don't see any words in here that mention increase. Not yet, anyways. I mean, maybe it's in here, and I might be speaking too soon, but when I find it, I will definitely bring it to your attention because I don't see it anywhere, and I don't really remember it when we were doing the charter. We made in the charter, we said they were entitled to $1,500, not even, was it $1,500? I think it was $1,500 a year in 2 installments. The council president, I think, got a little bit more. That was before mayor. Then, of course, the mayor, it was set at 86, I believe, in the charter. I think, and you folks out there should think, that for a mayor to get a raise, it should be voted on, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you.
It's taxpayers' funds.
Exactly. I mean, you give somebody.
He works for us.
Yeah. See, I've been pushing that lately, Mike. That
Yep, he works
to the
for
council
us.
and the mayor. You guys work for us.
Thank you.
It's not the other way around. You don't go
Thank
prancing around town thinking that you're the top of the totem pole, because you're not. You're second. You're underneath us.
Dennis, let me break it down for you.
Okay.
They got a title.
Yeah.
Councilman Downey, Mayor Downey. You know, they think that title and the fact that they sit a foot higher than everybody else in city council chambers, they think they're on a pedestal. That's all it is.
I don't know. And then in the beginning of this charter, it talks about the city, its duties to the citizens of the city. And it's like one long sentence. There's no periods, there's no commas, nothing, just boom, like that. And you'd be surprised what it says that the city is supposed to be doing. And a lot of it has to do with roads. And lately I've been on this hot streak about our roads, because our roads are horrible. And we get money that comes in and we get money that goes out. We spend it on stuff, but we don't seem to be spending money to benefit all the people of the city.
Well, your goods and services are not improving. They're just not.
Well, we got a call already.
Already,
We're
huh?
in trouble. You're live.
Yeah, call already. What do you mean?
Hey there, brother.
Hey, what section are you in, Dennis, under that compensation?
Well, the compensation is section 29.
Okay, the way it read before your commission did a revision, this goes back to the charter of, let me see, I see a date, 1996. The council may by ordinance provide for compensation. Well, without reading it, because you already did. In this one, it spells out the amount of compensation.
Yeah, what was it?
It was back then. It was $1,000, and for each member, and $1,500 for the
President.
ceremonial mayor.
Yeah, that sounds
But
right.
I know in the current charter they've taken that verbiage out.
Yeah, but where is it in the current charter where it says that they can give themselves a raise?
in the current charter, it should be in that same section because it's the last section of the old one. Thereafter, such compensation shall be set by ordinance of the City Council to be effective on the first Monday of December next following the regular city election to be held subsequent to such vote. Since most of the current council has been in office, as Mike and you were probably aware of, they've given themselves at least 3 increases.
Yeah, but what I'm getting at is I don't remember in the charter it saying that they had the right to give themselves raises. I know in Washington and stuff, all the politicians in there, they automatically get a raise unless they vote against it.
It's in the first sentence under compensation. The council may, by ordinance, they're the ones that come up with the ordinances, provide for compensation of its members to be paid in equal monthly installments.
Yeah, but it doesn't say. To me, this means that equal installments of what the last charter said they were getting.
Well, last I knew, it wasn't equal. It wasn't even monthly installments when I first knew it, but they were getting paid semi-annually.
Yeah, every 6 months.
But the last I knew, I think the sitting president's getting almost $4,500. The deputy is getting, or whatever it's being called, is getting about just a grand under that, and each council member is getting about $3,000.
Are you what?
The total for all 7 seats is about almost the equivalent to what it's costing us to have the Columbus statue stored.
Do you have the means to send me how many times they've given themselves a raise? This has had to happen within the last 2 years or so.
It's been at least 3 times.
The prior council before this one did it once in October, around the same time they increased the mayor to 110K, so it was in that time frame.
I remember that.
They 1 month they met and gave themselves an increase, and within 4 weeks later they turned around and increased that again because there were a couple sitting members that claimed that the compensation they weren't getting for all their expenditures and all they were expected to do wasn't enough.
All right, everybody out there, so you're hearing this. Some of you is probably for the first time, as I am hearing it for the first time. I knew they gave themselves 1 increase, and they gave the mayor an increase. I didn't know they gave themselves more than 1 increase.
Yeah, they did it back to back.
Increase, along with, because the 1,000 and 1,500 wasn't enough. Then they decided the next increase was to differentiate the president, the president pro temp, or whatever the second, and then the other 5 councilors.
Right.
They decided they needed to break it out even further.
And the last one, they cried
and then
poverty.
The last one, which was just recent, was in the last year. Before certain council members left, I want to say the president's close to $4,000 or $4,500 a year.
Because they had to buy stamps
and gas. I know it works out to about 15K for all 7 seats.
Look, they were buying stamps and gas way before any of these councilors were there. That's part of the overhead of running a city.
What are we paying for their internet costs?
Well, what did we pay for?
Everything's been Zoom.
What did we pay for the last 2 years? We haven't had 1 open city council meeting. We still don't have them, and everybody else around us is having open meetings.
And mask mandates have been done away with.
The Senior Affairs Commission. And they're considered the high-risk group when it comes to COVID. What article are you currently under for city council? Article
Senior
3.
Affairs.
No, it's under Article 3.
By the way,
29.
Murray's show's coming on after mine, and he's got the mayor on.
Who?
Murray show. Rimshaw.
Rimshaw.
He's got the mayor on.
Oh, Murray's back on?
Yeah. John, can you call back later or something? I got another call.
Yeah, real quick. What happened to Mary Jane?
She retired.
Oh, she did?
Yep.
Good for her.
Yep. We miss
Long
her around
overdue.
here.
Oh, definitely
All
miss
right,
her.
bud.
All right, thanks, John.
Yep.
You're alive.
Are you sure?
Yes, I am sure. How come you didn't tell me they raised their compensation 3 times?
Oh, well, you want to hear something better than that?
Is there anything better than that?
Not this council, but 2 years ago. As you know, the last council never did meet in council chambers.
Yes.
The first council meeting that the last council had, which was at Vinnie Dover Jackson, on their first meeting in December, they got their half a year stipend. The first meeting before they'd ever started a meeting. That would be like you getting paid
Before
when
you
you
did
walk
anything.
in, before you check in, hit that time clock on a Monday, and then you get paid for the week whether you're there or not.
Oh, man.
It's corruption. It's all corruption.
So when you see the mayor, ask him if the next council meeting is going to be in city council chambers, because on the 29th, Landmark is having an event in city council chambers.
Who is?
Landmark.
A Landmark? Really?
Yes.
Karen and Mike
Yes,
knows.
I know her. I met her once.
There's, no, you're real funny. There's just not enough people in this town. It's not even close to enough people in this town that really gives a shit of what's going on here. There really isn't. Because they should be in an uproar. Like I was saying to Mike earlier, the mayor gets a raise, and then I don't know if he's gotten more than one raise. I know the last I heard he was up around 130 something, I think, somewhere in that ballpark. And we, the people, never got a chance to vote on that. We never got a chance to vote on the recreation center. We don't get a chance to vote on what kind of businesses are coming into town. Like maybe we shouldn't on that one, but we should as hell be able to see what kind of deal the city has made so that we can decide whether we want to abide by that, and we don't. We don't get to do anything because they're still using this COVID crap. This is...
But Dennis, they
Well,
don't
yeah,
even
and-
want us to weigh in on bond referendums.
I know.
Well, and we remember when the city council gave themselves the raise because they needed the money for gas and stamps and stuff.
Yeah.
I
And
guess...
then, within 3 months, their COVID hit, and they weren't doing anything. What were they spending gas for? Because
They didn't ask for money for telephones.
No
The
refund.
city pays for their city website or their city email.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy, I don't know. My wife says to me, why do you even bother? And I said, I gotta
You know what, Dennis?
I gotta feel like I've tried to do something.
Senior Affairs is inching toward getting things done. And
Shouldn't I have heard something from the city council on if I've been accepted or rejected for being a member on that?
I've been pushing. I didn't speak this last council meeting, but I will speak the next council meeting. Again, for the fourth time, about them having an administration committee meeting and appointing some of these people that have applied for different commissions.
I mean, I know we need 2 people on ethics. I'm looking
Yeah.
at a gentleman right now, it'd be great on ethics. And we just had a
Well, we
call
were
from
talking
another
about
one.
it the last meeting we had.
Anyways.
We've got a couple openings on senior affairs. Pedestrian advisory has 3 or 4 openings.
So, Karen, real quick,
Yeah.
short version, what's the latest on the rec center?
Well, you know what? I don't know whether it was my phone yesterday or not, but we had a task force meeting last night, but I didn't get the notification till this morning. It was dated yesterday, so I can't fault Felix for not sending it. But
Yeah, but did you check and
7
see?
o'clock this morning, I found out.
Did you
I
check
should
and
have been
see
in the
if
task
Judy
force
got a?
meeting last night.
Did you check and see if Judy got a call?
No, Judy dropped off.
All right, Karen.
But you know what, Karen? Don't apologize. For the simple reason, just for notoriety reasons, I receive emails, even though I'm no longer active on any agency boards and commissions, but people send me heads up all the time, because of notoriety. Here's the key. People know you're part of the task force, and if you didn't respond, Common sense would say, oh, I haven't heard from Karen Paul. Let me make sure she knows about this meeting.
You know, if I were you, Karen, I would check with some of the other members that won't lie to you, if they were notified, if they got an email or something saying there was a meeting, because they might not have sent them out.
Well, he usually does. My personal issue with that is usually our meetings are on a Wednesday night, and he sends a notification Wednesday afternoon.
Okay.
It's not that's not the 24 hours. And you know from personal experience of a commission that we sit on, that we just had to cancel a meeting because we couldn't do a 24-hour notification to one of the parties that had to.
Yeah, well, they had the city had an issue with not taking care of business in their.
Yes, they did, and that wasn't the first time.
No, they I don't know.
Trust no one.
All right, Karen, keep listening,
right.
and you got
Mike.
you got a show
Yeah.
tomorrow?
Yes,
Yeah,
Karen?
Mike, did Marilyn talk to you?
Yes, she did.
And
Oh, you want me to answer on air? Oh, sure, yes. I'd be glad to come and hang out with you tomorrow.
Excellent.
that would be wonderful. See you then.
We'll stir the pot.
Yeah.
We'll see you
Sounds
later,
good.
Karen.
Bring a big paddle.
Thanks for
Okay.
calling. Hey, Karen,
Yeah?
do you know that? Oh, you already know the mayor's going to be on the next show, right?
Right.
Pass the word.
Ask him when.
No.
he's gonna start meeting in
You
chambers.
call him up and ask him.
Talk to you later.
All right, bye.
Bye.
You know, people tell you, ask them this, ask them that, you know, and sometimes it's okay thing to do. But really, if you have the ability to do it, you should do it yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
Ask. Because then you cannot come back and say, well, I heard this instead of what you're telling me. Because you know, one-on-one, you know.
But as I explained to Karen and anybody else that chooses to listen, once you become a community advocate, people use Dennis Downing. Dennis, ask him this. Dennis, ask him that.
I understand that, and
When
I'm
they
usually
should-
okay with that.
Yeah, but then it only looks like Dennis is the asshole, or Mike
Yeah.
Hudson is the asshole.
Exactly.
Our community leaders need to know it's not just us. Because I've had Democrats come up to me and unaffiliated voters come up to me and say, oh, geez, Mike, you're such a dick. You're yada, yada, yada. But they don't realize I have to step into that gap because, like in the Army or any other place where you got to volunteer, when they say who volunteers and you think all these people are going to volunteer with you, you turn around and you're by yourself.
Everybody
You know,
step
it-
forward and you turn around and everybody's still back.
Everybody took a step backwards because they know you're going to do it.
You know,
Not that we don't like
sometimes
doing it, but,
sometimes
you know.
it's okay, but it means more,
If everybody
and it's more
does it.
effective if I'm a person or you're the person that's asking questions.
Yes.
Then, like you say, the people that are being asked, whether it's the mayor, the council, whoever it may be,
Right.
they think, oh, it's only him. That don't matter.
Oh, yeah.
But if they get questions from multiple groups of
Thank you.
people,
Right.
now they're thinking, well, geez, this could be a vote.
And whenever you ask the council, well, who did you talk to? They give you the stupid deer in the headlight look because they haven't talked to anybody.
No, I don't think half of them know how to talk
No,
to
they
anybody.
haven't.
So let's
Yeah,
all
I'm
right. So
sorry.
we were going to talk about the museum.
The museum.
I talked extensively about this on the radio show last night. I had one
Okay.
person text in and say that we were just talking garbage. Until I said, well, why don't you come on the show? I said, I got a TV show tomorrow. Why don't you call in? Come on my TV show. We'll talk. We'll talk civilized. You know, you think I'm talking garbage. Show me if I'm wrong.
Present your facts and figures.
Yeah, and hey, if I'm wrong, I'm the first to admit I'm wrong. But just to type in garbage.
Right.
I mean, what's that say about you? Are you describing what your house is like? Or are you describing whatever? Okay, so
But you didn't use the word pig.
no, I did not use the word pig. I wish I had thought about it, but I didn't use it.
That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. Buck.
Okay.
But
so,
the museum,
The museum. So you've heard the latest. Now, me and you talked a little bit before the show.
right?
And when they wanted to put it down at Fort Trumbull,
Yep.
wasn't one of the stories was that the government could not invest money in public things like, not public things, but like Coast Guard museums
Right,
or
yeah,
things along
charitable
this line.
organization, right,
They
yeah.
had to get the money from the public.
Right.
And they couldn't raise the money for Fort Trumbull, that's why it never went
Right.
into Fort Trumbull, although there's a lot of other reasons why, but that was the one they were using.
Just to raise a technical point, because I looked it up when we were having that discussion on the phone. In order to be a foundation, because the museum is not the Coast Guard Museum, it's the Coast Guard, not a federal government thing. It's the Coast Guard Museum Foundation. And according to tax law, in order to be a foundation and be tax exempt, you have to derive a certain percentage of your funding from the private sector.
Okay, so with that being said, and I've said this many times before, $100 million sounds like a lot of money, and it is. But
It's relative.
you mean to tell me of all the billionaires we have in this country, whether they're movie stars, whether they're
Yep.
sports figures, whether they're generals,
Congressmen.
congressmen, senators, whatever they may be,
Yep.
that this organization cannot find 100 people to donate $1 million?
Thank you.
These people with this kind of money will drop $1 million bucks, like me and you will drop a $5 bill. So what has been the problem? This thing started 7 years ago.
Yep.
And I'm going to say, like I said on the show yesterday, I was all for this. And I kind of still am. And I know it doesn't sound like I am, but in a way I am. But my problem is people are blind to the fact of
Right.
what this is really going to entail
Right.
to the city. The inconvenience. Good inconvenience, bad inconvenience, doesn't matter, it's going to be there. The whole reformation of downtown.
Just call it what it is. They're going to have a major disruption of the infrastructure.
Right, and it's not going to be just for a month.
No, year round.
So, and then you get into the politics of it. They want, in the spring, before the summer starts up, Rogowski's wants their ferry boats and everything. They want to be ready.
Absolutely.
And they want to make it what they want to make it look more presentable. So what's
Right.
more presentable than a brand new terminal?
And the bridge. Don't forget about the
Well,
bridge.
that's where the bridge is going to go.
You're right.
From the garage over the wires
Yep.
down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flights of stairs
Yep.
or elevator.
I believe it's going to be 2 elevators.
I think you're right. They're going to use the elevator supposedly in the garage, but there's
Yep.
supposed to be 2 on the other side, I think. And into a terminal. And once they're in the terminal, they can go into the ferry
Or-
where they'll buy their tickets and do
Right.
all that stuff. And it's not going to cost Rogowski's any money.
Nope. Break out
Now-
your wallet. It's going to cost you money.
Yes, all of it is. And then you get into the aspect of, see, this is some of the stuff I don't like about the plan, is Finenzio, being a nice guy that Finenzio was, and I'm being very, very sarcastic, gave the land to the Coast Guard, gave the land for the terminal,
Yep.
gave it all away so they could build this bridge and stuff. But the one thing he did do, or the state did it, maybe you can correct me on this, is nothing gets paid for until everything is started at the same time.
Right. That was the state.
So, but I think they're going to stick a shovel in the ground for the Coast Guard Museum. They're going to stick one in for the terminal, and they're going to say, well, we started it, and bam, they're going to go for that bridge.
Just like the high school.
Yeah. And
Yep.
from what I understand, and someone please, hey, if I'm wrong on any of this, you have the opportunity to try to correct me because, you may not be right, but you could be. All right? These towers and this bridge are supposedly, you can look at this picture, if you look at the side of it, and that's in the paper, you can see it's all glass. So, it's not supposed to have any air conditioning, and it's not supposed to have any heat. We, the city of New London, have to maintain the security of these elevators and stairs and the bridge going across to the parking lot. and probably the parking lot too by then. Also, we have to maintain the cleanliness of the place. You think that's going to be for free?
Nope.
Somebody's got to pay. You got to hire people to do this. And when it comes time, when it comes time to clean this every year on the outside, that might not be too bad, but it will interfere with traffic, if traffic even still goes that way.
Right.
They're going to have to figure out what they're going to do with the traffic.
Right.
And I'm sure the seagulls are going to have a wonderful time with this.
With the glass.
Oh, yeah, they're going to be dive bombing that sucker like
Yep.
there's no tomorrow.
And even if
and
we
it's
don't
gonna
talk
have to be
about the
clean.
seagulls, what about a disgruntled individual? One
What?
brick, glass.
Well, I'm sure it's got to be some kind of strong glass or
Even-
some kind
even-
of something.
But you got to remember, even if it's strong glass, even though it may not shatter and come into shreds, it'll be just like your windshield. It can be storm-proof glass. The brick may not penetrate it, but what's going to happen? It's going to be like a spider web.
Yeah.
That's laminated glass.
Now, I think all of a sudden they somehow got this new budget that Biden's coming out with, 14 trillion or whatever
To
the hell
build
it
back
is,
better.
1.4 billion trillion.
Yeah,
Whatever.
well, depends on what you want to call
Yeah,
it. Either Build Back
it's-
Better
oh,
or
right
the
here.
American Recovery Act.
It's 1.5 trillion.
Yeah.
And the government's going to slice out of that 50 million towards the construction of the Coast Guard. Now, the state's putting in 20 million for the bridge. That's got to tell you something. Only for the bridge. 50 million for the Coast Guard. You don't hear anything about what Rogowski's are getting because it's all tied into the Coast
To the
Guard.
ferry, right? Yeah.
So if you add those two up just for hell, that gives you $70 million. You need 100. Where's the other 30 going to come from? I know we're probably 30 of it is almost already gone, and I'll get into that right now.
Right.
All righty. What do I do with it? So you realize, folks, that this bridge has been going on for 7 years. Oh, I know, it's on my phone. These little gadgets, you know, I can't friggin' stand them. But anyways, come on. You know that there is a board
Yes.
or an agency that is running this whole Coast Guard thing.
It's a foundation.
It's a foundation, right? So they've been in their board for like 7 years now, and they've been getting paid.
Yes.
So, folks, any of you wonder what they've been doing for 7 years and getting paid? And I'm not talking about like, you know, $400 or $500 a month
No.
or a week. No, I'm not talking that at all. All right, so this is by Dave Collins. You know, the guy you either hate or you love, one or the other. So, right here, the 2019 tax return, the association reported $4.5 million in grants and contributions, and the experience of 1.9 and expenses of 1.9 million. So they spent 1.9 million in 2019. Can anybody tell me on what? Can anybody say what results they got for that 1.9 million? Does the mayor know? You think the mayor knows?
No, he doesn't.
You think the consul knows?
No.
Who do you think knows?
The only person that knows, go to US.gov, go to irs.gov. On the drop-down menu, click on nonprofit agencies, click on the zip code, type in U.S. Coast Guard Museum Foundation, and if they're following the law, which I have to do because I'm a trustee of the New London Athletic Association, every year they have to file what's called a 990 form. And on that 990 filing, they have to list every salary, every donation, and every expenditure.
Okay, now with that being said, I just happen to have what these people are making a year. A year. Actually, it almost gives the mayor a run for his money. All right, so Let me see, so expenses for, 1.4 million in employees' compensation and benefits. That's what this board has made, which is, I believe, made up of 5 people. According to the return, the chief of development made $220,000 that year, that 1 year, 2019.
To do what?
It doesn't say. He's a chief of development. I don't see anything being developed, so, man, that's a pretty nice gig.
Yep.
The president of this board, or what did you call it, foundation. Made $155,000 that year. The head of communications, who has never returned Collins' calls, made $105,000 that year. Okay, so that's like 4 people, all over 100,000, one over 200,000 for 1 year. They've been in business for 7 years. They got $20 million to start for the bridge right off from the state. I bet if you add these all up for 7 years, you probably go right through that $20 million. So anybody out there that know math, please call me and let me know, because I can't figure it out right now. It'll take too much time. The good news for museum bureaucrats is that there is plenty of money in the pot to keep paying those salaries for years, even if there's no hope of ever having enough to build the museum. You think this could be a sham?
Of course it's a Ponzi scheme.
Could this all be because Rogowski wants that bridge? Could that be what this is really all about?
Listen, Dennis, can I say 2 things to what you just said?
Yes, please do.
First thing is, I know personally 2 retired captains, that are buddies of mine, who graduated from the Coast Guard Academy, put in their full 22 years by one, and one put in 30 years, will not donate a dime to that Coast Guard museum, because they told me it's a scam. It's all a scam. None of their retirement money will go there. That's first of all. Second of all, how can you call yourself a non-profit or not-for-profit when on your 990 farm you're paying out multi-million dollars in benefits and compensation?
Well, a lot of nonprofits do that. I mean, look at some of the money these people make.
That's my point. How can you say you're a nonprofit when the money that you're collecting, a sincere portion, never makes it to the Downing Dog Fund?
Oh, I know.
You know, how much out of that dollar is actually going to take care of dogs? And that's the problem you have with all foundations. Why is the president and the coaches of UConn making multi-million dollar salaries?
I have to correct myself on something. The $20 million that the state offered for the bridge, I just mentioned that's probably what went to pay to these salaries. Well, it didn't. I have to give Ned Lamont, which will be the only time so far since he's been in office that I will give him a plus, is the Coast Guard Commandant asked for an advance on the $20 million.
Oh, he did?
Yes. And Ned Lamont told him no.
Well, that's good.
So you got to give credit where credit is due.
That's true. That's a good thing.
And they wanted the money to start for the bridge across the railroad tracks before the money for the new building has been raised. So that's still in play. So 2 positive things. Everything has to be started at once. But folks, all I'm saying is, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, is I honestly believe that this council, and the one before it especially, and I just can't believe the mayor is part of this. I don't mean part of it like intentionally, but I can't believe, to look and say, okay, we're going to build this beautiful museum. It's going to bring 750,000 people a year in, and not think about all the other stuff that goes with that.
Infrastructure.
I mean, what about parking?
Forget parking. Let's
Where are
talk
they going
about
to park?
Let's talk about the sewage.
Where are you going to park?
The sewage treatment plant. Okay.
I didn't even get to that one.
Listen, if you're going to build a museum, and if you're going to build the museum to code, you have to have so many bathrooms per population. So all those toilets that they have to flush. And when they flush, they got to go somewhere.
Hang on, caller.
You know what I'm saying? And not only if you build the museum, you have to upgrade the sewage treatment plant.
You know, not only that, but when they stop building this thing, if they ever do,
Right.
they're going to have to spend millions of dollars to make sure none of this stuff goes into the river.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
That's another thing. You know, where's all this extra money going to come from? We got a call. You're live.
Hey guys, I'm back.
Good.
It's going to come from John.
You know, the numbers you're talking are 7-8-year-old numbers.
Well, I guess, I don't know. I don't know where he...
No, I'm not talking the salaries. You keep saying $20 million for a bridge.
Yes.
Given today what's going on with inflation, double that.
Yeah, I know.
The cost of product. I mean, we're already up to $40 million on a $20 million community center.
Oh, God.
Well, John's being conservative. I always implement or invoke
Look
the
how
rule
much
of three.
cost overrun we have on the high school.
The rule of three,
Since
John.
that
The rule
bond
of
was
three.
approved.
You mean the half of high school?
So your $20 million bridge in actuality is going to cost with
See-
inflation $60 million.
I can think of all these things. John thinks of these things. You think of these things. And yet, he just brought up something that I didn't even think of.
Mm-hmm.
So, even though I can think of a lot of things that I feel the people in New London should be made aware of
Right.
and what it may cost, there's things I'm not even aware
Oh,
of.
sure. Oh, absolutely.
But these
I mean,
folks
are
that
we going to finally have Eugene O'Neill Drive going into phase 2 so it's finally a two-way street so traffic can move out of town? Because with those apartments going up where they want to and all the construction on Bank Street and now the Coast Guard, you're going to have to divert people starting at the firehouse.
you're not going to be able to defer to people. Those EB workers alone are going to go where they want to go. And take into consideration now, since we're getting into traffic, you possibly have the rec center, and then you have a senior living that they
Facility.
want to put down there. So, and if you've seen the apartments that they're building on, what road am I talking
Howard.
about? Howard, that building is right on top of the street almost.
Oh, yes,
it's-
it is. Yeah, you can reach
it's
out and
been-
touch it. Yeah.
So how's all this traffic?
I mean, it's been what, almost 4 years that we've still been in the 6-month pilot phase for Bank Street for being a single lane street. What happened to phase 2 that Eugene O'Neill was supposed to be a two-way?
This is what I mean about this city. I'm saying this because I'm going to die in this city.
Right.
I moved back here over 20 years ago. I was born here, left, came back, and there is a lot of potential. But the direction that the people that are running this city is all wrong. They're trying to make it into something it's not
not.
meant to be.
Thank you.
And
Thank
you
you.
read in the article, I'm sure, that you're talking about with this Coast Guard plans. You know they're going to be ripping into the city pier that the city
Oh.
paid to have renovated.
That's the first thing they're going to start on.
In fact, the city had to do it a second time because they didn't do the pylons the first
Yep,
time right.
I remember that. I mean, it's, guys, if you want the museum downtown, like I said, I was for it because I thought it could bring a lot of hope to the city downtown. But we're losing more and more people and businesses downtown. When you hear about a new business going in downtown, probably it's because they got money from the city in some form to help keep them going. But if you can't carry your business for 5 years before you start to see any kind of profit, you're not going to make it. That's
you
generally the
just-
consensus.
And can we point out a
You
contrast?
just saw the 4 properties that they sold through a Marshall or foreclosure sale for about a third of what they were worth.
Yeah, but I understand those people still have a chance to get they got 6 months to pay up and get their property back, I thought.
But can I point out a contrast?
Go ahead.
Benny's closed just because of big box stores, but yet, is it Surplus Unlimited?
No, it's
It's Ocean State?
no.
Oh, Big Lots?
Big Lots.
It's going to go in where Benny's used to be.
Waterford.
That's
Waterford
Mike.
is booming.
Yeah.
Waterford is booming.
Ace Hardware moved into
Ace
Waterford.
Hardware moved in there. They don't have the problems that we have.
You know where Wayside Furniture is in Waterford?
Yes.
Okay, they just sold that.
They just sold out.
You know who
Yep.
they sold it to?
No.
You know the people on J Street that have the wood shop
Yes.
and they had the big tree trunks out there and all that? They bought it. They're moving there. Do you know the something pallet that was downtown where all the artists could go and
Oh,
drink their
yeah,
wine?
yes, yeah, the cooperative, whatever
She's
they call
selling
it.
everything. She's out of business.
Here's another plus while you're talking Waterford, town of Waterford. Crystal Mall,
Yeah,
you know that all the talk about, oh, it's going to be this or it's going to be that. Waterford's pretty much put their foot down. It's going to be tax-generating revenue. Amazon's not going to be going in there because they want too many tax breaks, and Waterford doesn't want to give it to them, unlike New London. If that was New London, they'd be throwing out the welcome mat
Oh, yeah.
and selling the property for $1.
And see, that's another gripe I had last night that I wanted to ask you about. And John, you might as well hang in here, please. We had the apartment complex go up on Bank and J Street, I guess,
Yes.
Howard Street.
Howard,
All right,
Bank
and
and
we got
Howard.
another one being built. We had the one down on Mansfield Road.
Yep. Which is going to turn
and-
into 4 units.
And because we don't have any city council meetings, so you can't ask, you can go on Zoom, but I think everybody on Zoom, I could be wrong, 90% of them are probably friends of the council.
Of course
So
they
you're
are.
not getting any
Yeah.
true answers. But how come we don't hear about the deals that are made? I'll even give them to after the fact. How come we don't know what kind of abatements they got, if any? How come we don't know how much taxes they're paying now and that they're going to pay in the future? We don't know none of this. We don't even know it for EB.
Here's another one for you, and I've said this before. What about our services to support all these new apartments?
Yes.
Our
There you
current
go.
services are budgeted based on our current demographics.
Is our
And
water...
yet they want to cut you have members in town that want to cut the police
Oh,
department.
wow, that's quick.
We're probably going to need a 4th firehouse when all this is said and done.
Okay, so we got like 4 minutes left.
I got one last thing for
Go
you,
ahead,
Dennis.
John.
I know you asked Karen, have you heard anything on your application?
Not a word.
Because I know Mike put in for the same committee some time ago too, and
Oh,
I know
yeah.
I submitted one for that same
Did you
commission.
Did you put one in for ethics?
Oh, I put one in for ethics, economic development, finance.
Yeah, I did.
I've got about 8 sitting in there,
Okay.
and all I've gotten back is a letter saying we received your application. My applications have been sent through to the committee, referred by council to committee at a meeting. Yet there's only been one admin committee meeting since January. Yet a person just got appointed. I think it was to the sustainability committee. Their application was referred this last meeting. Yet they were on the agenda as item 9. And council voted to put them on the commission before the application even went before admin committee.
Let me guess, they were a Democrat.
More than likely. That's
You know,
all that's
that's
on
not
Parks
even-
and Rec
that's-
now, Mike, you know.
All right, John, I'm going to let you go, man.
Yeah.
We got 3 minutes. Thanks for calling. John, get ready to come on my show sometime, please.
Dennis, real quick.
Yes.
Go back, when you go to the city website, go into December 2019 agenda and minutes. It'll answer your questions about the council raises.
Oh, okay. Thanks, John.
Yep.
Take it easy, John.
So I read where the mayor's getting ready to present a new budget to the council, and he says in this budget that for the 4th year straight, there's not going to be any increases in the taxes. Okay, so I've never gotten anything back from taxes.
Neither have
When
I.
they say there's not going to be an increase, so what does that exactly mean?
Thank you.
So this is what I want from the council and the mayor. I want to know why our roads can't be better.
Sidewalks.
I want to know why, and sidewalks, they've been working on sidewalks.
Oh, okay.
Why do we have half of roads? Now, I know we have half of roads because the gas company came through and did what they had to do, and they paved over that half of the road. But why only half a road? Why do we have so many potholes? I mean, can't you do something for the taxpayers of New London and at least give them different good roads to drive on?
Why can't they hire municipal workers? Why is Public Works always the first department to get hit?
I don't know. I don't know. I've asked that before. That's what, to me, that's the most important department that the city can have. That's what
Absolutely.
makes your city look good.
Absolutely.
You know,
I mean, you and I have a personal relationship with a lot of the Public Works people. My trash cans get placed where I put them. You know what I'm saying? When they plow my street, they do a good job, you know, because I'm personable with those employees. But I should be the norm, not the exception. You know? People shouldn't say, oh yeah, Mike Hudson lives there, do this, that, and the other.
No,
It should never be that way.
all you have to do coming into New London, if you're going to move here, is take a ride through the city.
Yep.
That's all you got to do.
Yep.
And trust me, the only people that are going to buy houses are the ones that are maybe looking for a second home or getting a hell of a deal.
Investment
and
income,
I think
right,
we're done.
yeah.
All right, folks. Thank you for joining in tonight.
Oh, 1 minute.
Oh, 1 minute. You got anything you want to say?
The only thing I wanted to say is that finally, I got hand-delivered a senior center newsletter.
I don't get one.
Thank you. That's still my whole point.
Thank you, everybody. See you next week.
Goods and services,
Hey,
vote.
the mayor's going to be on next, so get your phones ready.
Stay tuned.